Hello, it's Marion Stewart, and I'm talking about recovering from menopause and perimenopause symptoms today. I have spent the last 8 weeks on an amazing journey, as some of you might know if you've seen any of my films before. But just to give you a bit of background, I set off to learn how to broadcast live from Facebook just because I heard about a course that was available the day before. And whilst I was actually on the course, I realised that I could set up a group and communicate to women going through the menopause and tell them that they don't need to suffer anymore. And that's based on many, many, many years of research and experience at the Natural Health Advisory Service. And we've been helping women going through the menopause since 1990. And I've published many books on the subject and done lots of broadcasting. And I've really, my team has changed the lives of so many women around the world and taken them from being in a really bad place, not knowing where to turn, not wanting particularly to take hormones in the long term, not wanting to take antidepressants, but not knowing what to take and what to do to actually alleviate the symptoms. So that was my starting point, and I just felt incensed that women are left to suffer and that they don't actually get proper help from their GP surgery for the most part. Obviously, there are some enlightened doctors and healthcare professionals, but for the most part, women are just left. And so I thought that if I started a group, which I did, called Midlife Switch, then women could come and they could get information. And the idea really was to have, in the longer term, a place where people can come and get their questions answered by lots of experts and really understand how to get to grips with what they're going through at midlife. Because it's not just about falling levels of estrogen, it's about so many other things that are happening in your life too, and the fact that you've probably got low levels of nutrients if you've had babies and done some breastfeeding, or you've been through stress, or whatever life issues you've had. And the menopause, really, I suppose people, when they come to see me in my clinics, it's a bit like a 5,000-mile service. So we go over everything and we try and work out how to deal with it and really focus on the things that are causing the most problem in the first place, and then gradually work our way through over the months until they are symptom-free. And the research shows that over 90% of the patients that have been through the program are symptom-free within the space of 5 months. So when I started the Midlife Switch group, I thought perhaps a few hundred women would come and I could impart some wisdom and help them. But actually what's happened in the last 8 weeks is that the little films that I've been making have been seen by literally hundreds of thousands of people all over the place. And over 2,500 women have come to join Midlife Switch. And they've all been sharing their extreme suffering. They've been talking about how these symptoms are stopping them in their tracks, how they aren't sleeping at night, how they're having awful hot flushes. Some of them are having to leave work because they're sweating, they're dripping, and they can't function. And that people are talking about aching joints, they're talking about anxiety, palpitations, chubby middles and putting lots of weight on, about libido that's long gone, and all these things that people don't normally share because they feel isolated. So one of the things that's happened is they've come together in the group and they're all supporting each other, which is wonderful. So that was one of my goals. But the other challenge for me is to work out how I can actually help them as a group so that they can recover. Now, I was in the process of finishing a book called Beat Menopause the Natural Way. So there's a brand new book coming. And in fact, yesterday I just launched the first chapters for the group so that they can go and download them. And then we're hoping we'll have the rest of it together by the end of next week. But I've also been focusing on how to help in terms of taking a group of people through the program and just coaching them so that they can self-help and that they know exactly what to be doing in terms of dietary changes, in terms of which supplements they should be taking, because supplements, there's so many of them out there, but so many of them are not scientifically based. And even the ones that are, there's too many of them for you to take them all. So you just need to know what's the best thing for you. So the book is actually a workbook. So I'm encouraging people to download it, and then they can start filling in the questionnaires as we go along. And tomorrow I'm going to be sending out the first of the discovery questionnaires so that you can actually find out exactly where you're at in terms of how far south you've gone and how we need to actually dig you out of this hole, in terms of which symptoms are a priority, and also to get a vision of how you'd like to be and how you were at your best so that you can be that again. And then later on in the week, there's some more diaries coming. And next week, I'm starting a series of free workshops so people can come and hear more about how the program works, more about self-help, and more about how they can help themselves, maybe with a bit of help from me too, to get through this awful time in life, because it doesn't have to be awful. It can be the best time in your life. It can be the time when you've got a bit more freedom, a bit more financial stability, and your children are older. Your partner's got a bit more time as well. And in theory, you could be having a good time, but because some people just can't go out of the house, they can't face socializing, they've just lost their happy selves. They've turned into moody, dark. Some of them are depressed. Some of them are aching so much they can't walk, let alone exercise. They're up in the night, they can't sleep. And everything just goes sideways when you're in that situation. But the good news is that you don't have to be. You can actually get back in the driving seat. You can actually overcome your symptoms if you learn how to meet your body's needs. And this is what I am aiming at, because I feel that women have gone on suffering for far too long. It shouldn't be that women are left to fend for themselves at this stage in their lives. It shouldn't be that they're in a dark place. They should have the knowledge to reclaim their well-being, and that's my mission. So if you're suffering, if you know anybody else who is, please send them the link to this. Come onto Midlife Switch, become a member, and just join us on this journey. Download the first chapters of the book, and then you can join the workshops as well in the coming weeks. So I really look forward to welcoming you, and this is a real honor for me to be able to do this. I feel very excited about helping so many women at once to make positive change in their life. Thank you for taking time to listen. Bye-bye.